Everybody, stay-at-home gamer here. Let me ask you a couple questions. Do you like Apex Legends? Do you like board games? Well, let me tell you why you will love Guardians by Plaid Hat Games. With similar themes and similar mechanics, this is basically Apex Legends, the board game. Here we go.
Here we go.
Thanks again, guys, for clicking on the video. First, Plaid Hat Games made Guardians, this wonderful card game. All their stuff is going to be linked down in the description. Make sure you guys show them some love. Now, Guardians is a fast-paced action game, much like Apex Legends. And I'm going to show you why it is way more similar to Apex Legends than you think. Let's take a deep dive into Guardians. To start off, let's talk about how many people can play. Now, you can only have 2 players, or you could have 2 teams of 2 fighting against each other. And the overall purpose of the game is to get 9 points of control. And I'll show you how to get those in a second. Now, when you're setting up the game, you have your 10 Guardians here. Let me go over just a couple of them to show you who they are. Whiplash here, it's basically your Pathfinder. Basically the same thing as Pathfinder within Apex Legends. She could grapple heroes from one location to the other. She also has some power cards where she can grapple to other locations when you play that card. Harbinger over here, he's your immobile person. He's kind of like that Gibraltar, that big, beefy guy, but he's not going to be able to move too fast. Kind of how Gibraltar feels. Grave over here is basically Caustic. She has knockout gas, and she's going to have a lot of actions that put people in traps just like Caustic. Then you got Valkyrie, who I believe is somewhat like Bangalore. She's going to have an ultimate card that is basically Bangalore's Barrage. And then if you play Overwatch, Paladin here is just like Soldier 76. He's going to help out a lot of characters on your team, and he's going to be just kind of that support for your team. These are the Guardians. What you're going to do to set up is you're going to shuffle all of them together, and you're going to draw out 8. Once you draw out 8, this is how it's going to relate to Apex Legends. Each of the players is going to draw 3 Guardians here. So my coworker here, he's going to draft Ronin, and then I'm going to draft Kosi. He's going to draft Grave. I'm going to draft Mauler. He's got Whiplash, and I got Venger. These other 2 are put with the other Legends, or with the other Guardians, and then that's when you start setting everything else up. Now, each player is going to take their respective characters, their respective Guardians, and grab their power decks. These are their power decks. Now, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking these power decks, plus these 6 generic cards, and creating one big deck. Now, what you want to do is you want to take out each of the ultimates. Just like in Apex Legends, these are to be used later. They're also be used to charge. They also need to be charged up in order to use them. And I'll tell you how to do that a bit later. Next, you want to set up the location cards. These are the location cards. Now, on them, let's show you some anatomy here. Down at the bottom is going to be the location's effect. This is something that happens when you move there, when you are there. It's just something that's going to put a ripple into the game. Here is the control slider. We'll show you a token later where you're going to be able to move the token one step closer to you scoring or one step closer to your enemy scoring. Now this here is the amount of points that you're going to get if you win this location. In order to set this up, you're going to shuffle and you're going to draw locations. Now, the key to locations is if you draw 3 of the same number, then you're going to have to redraw again. See here, we only drew 2 3s and 2 2s, so we're good to go. If we drew another 3 like that, we would have to replace this 3 with a different card so that we could get a different number. This time we got a 1, and now we're all set to go with our locations. Next with our setup, we're going to take our location tokens, which are these small blue ones. You're going to take each one of them and put them in the middle. During the game, you're going to be battling your opponent for control at each of these locations by sliding them back and forth. And I'll tell you how you slide them back and forth later on in the video. Now, as part of the rules here, for your first time playing the game, the writers of the game suggest that you ignore the text on each location, just so that you get used to the mechanics and how to play the game in general. Next, you're going to set up your tokens. First, you have your damage tokens. You're going to set them off to the side like this. Then you have your condition tokens, and do the same. These are charge tokens. They could be put to either side as well. So this right here is an overall layout of what your setup should relatively look like. To start the game, each player is going to draw 5 cards from their respective decks. And now you're ready to start. So before we play the game, I wanted to show some things about some of the cards within the game itself. First, let's take care of the character card. Now Ronan here, he has 2 base attack. That's going to be that top position there. The bottom diamond here is his health. So he has 11 hit points until he gets killed. Down below here is his passive ability. So just like Pathfinder's Grapple or even Wraith's Void, he's going to have Indomitable. If there are enemy characters at his location, he gets +2 attack for each enemy hero that is there. Next, we're going to go over a reaction card. This card here is called Rebuke. You can play this card after your opponent does something. It says here, you may play this card after Ronan is dealt damage. Exhaust each enemy hero at any one location. I'll tell you about exhausting here in a bit. This is Ronan's utility card. This card can be played at any moment. It is a free card and it doesn't require an action point. Here is just a regular power card. Now here at the top, you're going to see 2 symbols. First, this triangle symbol means that you must exhaust one of your action points in order to use this card. The one below here is an arrow up, which means that this hero must not be exhausted in order for you to use this card as well. He must be readied. Now you'll notice that there's a charge token down here. That's pretty important because when you play this card, you're going to be able to gain a charge token to charge Ronan's ultimate or any other character that you have in your deck. Speaking of ultimate cards, here's Ronan's ultimate. Once you take this charge token, place it on the card like this, he'll only need 1 more charge token in order for his ultimate to be used. He has a charge token 2 cost there. But once again, to use his ultimate, you're going to have to use an action, as well as Ronan must be ready. Now his action is pretty cool, his ultimate. It says you may attack with each readied hero you control. And then, once they attacked, they are exhaust, but this card lets you ready them right away. Now to go over some more tokens here, this is your damage tokens here. So if one of your heroes takes damage, you're going to take this and you're going to put it right on your character. So right now, he would only need 10 more hit points in order to be killed. Now here's some of your status tokens. This X here, if it's placed on one of your heroes, it means your hero cannot move. It is immobile. Next, this is a barrier. Usually you're placing these on your heroes, on your guardians, and if you put a barrier on there, that character cannot be attacked at all in battle. And finally, this is a lock. If you put it on an enemy hero, they aren't able to use any of their power cards, these power cards here, nor their ultimate with that hero. If they have a lock on it, they're pretty much useless. Okay, so Ryan and I are ready to play. Now, if I'm going first, again, I only have 2 actions to take this turn. First phase is control phase. Here's how we play. So control phase, we got to take a look at each location to see if we have control. Since it's my control phase, I'll take a look at here. I don't have control here because I don't even have a hero here. I'll look at here. I don't have control there either because my opponent has a readied hero in that position. Same for security center here. Now over here, I'm going to have control. So what I do is I take this middle token and I move it just 1 step closer to me. Now, again, first to 9 wins. My goal here is to get this token all the way to here so that I can gain this location. This location is 3 points, so that would be pretty sweet, and it would go straight towards my total. Next phase I'm going to be taking is the ready phase. Now, if my previous turn I had attacked with Ronan and he was exhausted like this, I would ready him just like this. Now, let's also say, here's another thing that's pretty similar to Apex Legends. Let's say Whiplash in my opponent's last turn died. Whiplash goes here. In the ready phase, I would redeploy Whiplash to any location that I want. So if I wanted to try to get the courtyard, I can move Whiplash there. If I wanted to stay at Skyway Overseas, I would continue putting Whiplash there. Again, you want to be able to ready all your heroes. Here, that's exhausted. Here, that's ready. Now, how does a hero get exhausted? A card that you play from your deck here might tell you to exhaust your character. However, if you just use the base attack of your character, that's automatically going to exhaust them. Whiplash here, unfortunately, has exhaust ability on her passive ability. So if you use her passive ability, which is Magnetic Grapple, that lets her move Koshi over here to the left, if I wanted to, I would have to exhaust her. And then my following ready phase, I would be able to ready her again. Now, there are some cards within your deck that might let you ready the hero as well if you play them. Next, I would do the action phase. So, since I only have 2 actions here, I'm going to play Reposition. Reposition allows me to move a character to a different location. Let's say I want to move Whiplash here all the way to the courtyard. Now, I would also get a charge token, so I would take this charge token here and I would place it on one of my abilities. Again, this is just like Apex Legends as well, where you have to charge your ultimate ability before using it. After using Reposition, I'll decide to use Barrier, just one of those simple cards. I'll get another charge token, and look at that. Ronan's ultimate is already ready. I only needed 2 charge tokens. This one allows me to put a Barrier token on one of my heroes. If I put it on Ronan, my opponent cannot attack Ronan at all. Ronan will not be taking any damage this turn. Now, during the action phase, you don't have to always play cards. You could also take your character and move them to any adjacent location. You also can draw a card. If you want your better cards, you could take a draw instead, but be careful, that's going to take up one of your actions. And then you can also attack. So you can always use the base attack of a character, but unfortunately it's going to exhaust. And you can only attack characters that are at that location, at the same location as you. There are only certain characters that allow you to attack adjacent locations from afar. Next would be the score phase. Let's say Venger here is actually not readied, and my turn is up. Well, Whiplash is ready. I would gain a control point. And then 2 steps later at the score phase, I would score this point. So I would take the token there, take it off the card. I would gain 1 point here. We'll put it in my win total. And then I would take another location and draw it and replace it. I would put the control token right in the middle, and we would start anew with a fresh location. Finally is the draw phase. You would draw 1 card at the end, and that is your turn. Then it would be the opponent's turn. Now, if we're going to the next turn, Ryan, you have an exhausted hero. You would have to ready it. But first, you need to check for control. Ryan doesn't have any control. He doesn't have any heroes here. He does have a Guardian here, but Grave is readied. He has one here, but Ronan is readied. And then he doesn't have a readied hero there. And I was there anyway, so he wouldn't gain control. Next, he would ready his heroes, and then he would play his actions. So first he would play Barrier, and so he would take a token and put it on Venger, let's say. And then he would take his second action, and then he would take his third action. Remember, he would always get a charge token for playing Barrier, and he would put it on one of the ultimates. This is basically Guardians. What you want to be doing is you want to try to control each location to get the best value within that location. Now, how do you move the control token even faster? You defeat your enemies. Let's say I defeat Mauler at this. You're going to move this control token 2 spaces. So you really want to be fighting as much as possible. Now, let's say Ronan wants to use his ultimate here. I would exhaust these 2 charge tokens, and his ultimate allows each readied hero to attack against their enemy. So first, Grave is going to attack Kosi for 3 here. Ronan will attack Mauler for 2. Now, ultimates, you really have to decide what is the best time to use them. And right now, unfortunately, that wasn't the best, because here, I won't be able to put any damage on Venger because he has a barrier token, so Whiplash can't attack. Now, this is Guardians in a nutshell. It doesn't have 20 teams of 3 like Apex Legends does, but it has a team of 3 here, has a team of 3 there, battling for location, battling for control points. And that's why it's similar to Apex Legends. You also have some characters that are very similar, like Whiplash is somewhat similar to Pathfinder, as well as Grave is similar to Caustic. You have Kosi here, who's similar to Wraith. Thanks for watching, guys. Really quickly, I wanted to go over what is the difference between a 2-player game and a 4-player game. First, when you have 4 players, you're going to play in 2 teams of 2. You're going to draft characters the same, except each player is only going to get 2 characters for their deck. Next, your starting hand is 4. So instead of the 5 cards you draw at the start, just draw 4. If there are more friendly heroes at a location instead of your enemy, then you're still going to gain a control point. Whereas in the 2-player game, the other team had to be exhausted in order for that to happen. When you knock out an enemy in a 4-player game, you're going to only gain 1 control point. Now, next, each player on each team is going to take 2 actions for a total of 4 actions per team. And finally, in a 4-player game, you can't charge your teammates' ultimate cards. You must use your charge token on your characters only. This is Guardians. It's very similar to Apex Legends in theme and in mechanics, and I think that you're going to have a great time with it. So thank you guys again for watching. Again, Guardians is very similar to Apex Legends in both theme and mechanics, and I really think you're going to like the fast-paced action once you get used to the game. Again, Plaid Hat Games made Guardians, and all their stuff is going to be linked down in the description. And make sure to check your local gaming store for a copy. If not, I'm sure you could find one on Plaid Hat's website. Again, this is Stay at Home Gamer, and I'll see you later. What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching. Make sure you smash that like button and make sure you are subscribed. There's a PayPal link in the description if you feel led to donate. Thanks for watching.